Nora Blackwood stared at her microscope in disbelief. The cellular regeneration rate was impossible yet. There it was, clear as day on her holographic display she'd been studying. Human genetic anomalies for years at the Galileo Research Station, but nothing like this. Run the sequence again. She commanded the lab's AI system. The floating screens flickered as fresh data streamed across them. The results were the same, a unique compound in human DNA that could potentially revolutionize medicine. The discovery should have been cause for celebration. Instead, a knot formed in Nora's stomach as she considered the implications. If this compound could accelerate healing and possibly even reverse aging, it would be worth fortunes to the right buyers, and not all of them would be human. The lab's security system chimed, interrupting her thoughts. Dr. Blackwood, Director Paddle requests your presence in the main conference room. Nora gathered her data tablets and straightened her lab coat. The station's stereo corridors were unusually quiet as she made her way to the meeting. When she arrived, she found not only Director Patel, but also 3 representatives from the Interstellar Commerce Committee. Dr. Blackwood, Director Patel smiled tightly. These gentlemen are very interested in your recent findings. The tallest of the ICC representatives stepped forward. His perfectly tailored suit couldn't quite hide his inhuman proportions. We understand you've made quite the breakthrough. Dr. Nora's grip tightened on her tablets. The ICC was supposed to regulate trade between Earth and alien species, but rumors suggested they were more interested in profit than protection. My research is still in early stages, she said carefully. Nothing conclusive yet. On the contrary, another representative spoke, his silver eyes gleaming. Our sources indicate you've isolated a compound unique to human biology, one with remarkable properties. Nora shocked Director Patel a look of betrayal. Someone had leaked her findings before she could publish them properly. The ICC is prepared to offer substantial funding to continue your research, the first representative said. Under our supervision, of course, and if I decline, that would be unfortunate for everyone involved. The threat hung in the air like poison gas. Nora thought of her small lab team, of the years of work they'd put into this project, of what certain alien species might do with this knowledge. I'll need time to consider. You're offered, she said. You have 24 hours. The representative replied. They filed out of the room, leaving Nora alone with Director Patel. I'm sorry, he said quietly. They gave me no choice. Nora didn't respond. She was already planning her next move. The data had to be protected, had to reach the right people before it fell into the wrong hands. She had contacts in the Earth Defense Force who needed to know about this. Back in her lab, Nora began systematically copying and encrypting her research files. She'd need help getting them off the station. As she worked, a news alert flashed across her screen. Another human colony had gone dark at the edge of settled space. The official story blamed pirates or technical failures, but Nora was beginning to suspect a far more disturbing explanation. The compound she discovered wasn't just valuable, it was unique to humans, and if certain alien species learned they could harvest it directly from living human subjects. Nora shuddered and kept working. She had 24 hours to prevent a catastrophe, 24 hours to ensure humanity didn't become a resource to be mined by the highest bidder. A soft ping from her computer indicated the encryption was complete. Now she just had to get the data to someone who could use it to protect Earth and its colonies, someone who understood what was really at stake. As she prepared to transmit the encrypted files, the lab's lights flickered. The security system gave a warning chirp. Someone was trying to override her door locks. They weren't going to wait 24 hours after all. Nora quickly initiated the file transfer and activated her emergency beacon. Then she began systematically wiping her local databases. They could take her, but they wouldn't get her research, not if she could help it. The door slid open with a hiss. Armed figures in ICC uniforms filed in, weapons raised. Dr. Blackwood, the lead agent, said, "Step away from the console." Nora raised her hand, slowly, buying precious seconds for the file transfer to complete. "You're making a mistake," she said. "This isn't about profit, it's about survival. The ICC will decide what it's about," the agent replied. "Now come with us. Your expertise is required for a special project. As they led her away, Nora caught a glimpse of her terminal screen. The transfer had completed successfully now. It was up to others to uncover the truth and stop what was coming. She only hoped they would be in time. Roland Thorne knew trouble when he saw it after 15 years, running security for deep space mining operations. He developed a sixth sense for when things were about to go sideways. Right now, that sense was screaming. The warehouse district on New Mars Colony was supposed to be abandoned after the dust storms hit, but Roland's sensors picked up regular transport traffic and power signatures that shouldn't exist. Someone was running an operation here, off the books and away from prying eyes. He checked his plasma rifle's charge and adjusted his environmental suits settings. The Martian atmosphere was still toxic, even after decades of terraforming. Perfect cover for anyone wanting to hide their activities. His client, a mysterious contact who identified herself only as Phoenix, had hired him to investigate disappearances from the outer colonies. The Royal had led him here to these supposedly empty warehouses. Now he just had to figure out what he was dealing with. The first two buildings were genuinely abandoned, filled with nothing but red dust and forgotten mining equipment. The third told a different story. Fresh tracks in the dust, security systems that were just a little too new, and power readings that suggested serious medical equipment. Roland bypassed the outer security. With practical ease inside, he found what looked like a medical processing facility, but something was off. The equipment was arranged all wrong, more like an assembly line than a hospital, and those weren't recovery pods along the walls. They were stasis units. A soft whirring sound made him duck behind a console. A robotic medical unit rolled past, carrying what looked like collection vials filled with pearlescent liquid. Roland's blood ran cold as he realized what he was seeing. The rumors were true. He'd heard whispers about this on the black market. Alien buyers paying astronomical sums for something that could only be harvested from humans, some kind of biological compound that supposedly had miraculous properties. He dismissed it as space station gossip. Now he was standing in a facility designed to extract it. Roland planted surveillance devices and collected samples from the medical unit. Phoenix needed to see this, but as he turned to leave, an alarm shrieked through the building. Someone had spotted him. Security drones dropped from ceiling panels, their weapons primed. Roland dove behind a row of stasis units as plasma fire scorched the air. He returned fire, dropping 2 drones, but more were coming. Intruder in processing center 3. An automated voice announced lethal force authorized. Roland cursed and activated his emergency beacon. If he didn't make it out, at least the evidence would reach Phoenix. He fired again, taking out another drone, then sprinted for the exit. He almost made it. The blast caught him in the leg, sending him sprawling. As consciousness faded, he saw figures in environmental suits approaching. Their insignias weren't from any corporation. He recognized Roland. Woke, strapped to an examination table surrounded by medical equipment. A face loomed over him, human, but with the dead eyes of someone who'd sold their soul for profit. Mr. Thorne, the man said, welcome to the project. Don't worry, the extraction process is mostly painless, and you'll be helping forge a profitable new relationship between humanity and our alien partners. They're not partners, Roland spat. They're predators, and humanity isn't your personal farm. The man smiled thinly. The ICC disagrees. The compound in human biology is a valuable resource. We're simply managing that resource efficiently. The ICC. Roland's mind raced. If the Interstellar Commerce Committee was involved, this went deeper than he'd imagined. Indeed. Now shall we begin? Before the man could reach for his instruments, the facility's lights went dark. Emergency alarms blared. The man rushed to a computer terminal. Impossible, he muttered. Security breach in all sectors. Multiple infiltrators. Roland smiled grimly. Phoenix had received his beacon after all, and she brought friends. Gunfire echoed through the facility. The man grabbed a weapon and ran out, leaving Roland strapped to the table. Moments Later, a figure in tactical gear burst, and hold still a female voice said as she cut his restraints, "We're getting you out of here, Phoenix," among other names. "Der Blackwood will do now. Move. We have evidence to collect and people to save." Roland's grin widened. Maybe there was hope for humanity after all. Dominicville watched the encrypted data stream across his terminal, each line confirming his worst fears. Der Blackwood's research findings combined with Roland Thorne's surveillance footage painted a horrifying picture. The ICC wasn't just facilitating alien trade, they were running a systematic harvesting operation across human space. From his hidden base in the asteroid belt, Dominic coordinated what remained of the resistance. The facility they'd raided on Mars was just one of many. For every processing center that they shut down, 2 more seemed to appear. Status report. He called out to his communications officer. 3 more colonies have gone dark in the past week. Lieutenant Pierce responded, "The ICC is calling it a communications failure, but we know better." Dominic pulled up the star map, marking the latest disappearances. A pattern was emerging. The harvesters were working their way inward from the outer colonies, staying just ahead of detection. Der Blackwood's voice crackled over the comm. "We finished analyzing the compound samples from Mars. It's worse than we thought. The extraction process is fatal to the host. They're not just farming us, they're killing us." Dominic's jaw tightened. "How many victims?" "Based on the facility records, thousands, and that's just one location." The resistance leader stood, pacing his command center. The X propaganda machine had convinced most of Earth that alien trade was beneficial, that humanity was advancing into a golden age of interstellar commerce. Few suspected the terrible price being paid. Sir Pierce called out suddenly, "We're picking up a distress signal. Another processing facility, but this one's different. It's on Europa, Jupiter's moon. That's practically in Earth's backyard. They're getting bolder." Roland Thorne's grelly voice joined the conversation. "Or desperate. The compound degrades quickly. After extraction, they need fresh sources." Dominic studied the facility schematics. A Europa base meant the ICC was no longer content with raiding distant colonies. They were moving their operation into the heart of human space. "We can't let this continue," he declared. "Lieutenant, contact our allies in the Earth Defense Force." Der Blackwood, "Prepare your evidence for transmission. It's time humanity learned the truth. The ICC won't let that happen easily," Roland warned. "They have agents everywhere. Then we'll have to be smarter than them." Piers set course for Europa. "We're going to shut down that facility, but this time we're broadcasting everything live. Let's see them cover this up." As his team prepared for battle, Dominic received an unexpected transmission. The sender's ID was masked, but the message was clear. "Not all aliens support the harvest. Some of us want to hell. Meet our representative at the coordinates below. Come alone." It could be a trap, probably was, but if there really were aliens opposed to the X operation, the resistance needed allies. "Change of plans," he announced. "I'm taking a scout ship to check something out. The rest of you proceed to Europa. If I don't make contact in 6 hours, assume the worst and proceed with the mission." Der Blackwood's voice was concerned. "Fail. We can't afford to lose you. The resistance needs leadership. The resistance needs truth," he countered. "And if there's a chance to find allies who can help expose it, I have to try." He ordered his ship, setting course for the Rendezvous Point, a small mining outpost in the asteroid belt. If his mysterious contact was genuine, this could change everything. If not, well, he'd survived. Worse odds. The outpost appeared abandoned when he arrived, but his sensors detected a single life form inside. Non-human. Taking a deep breath, Dominic docked his ship and drew his sidearm. Time to find out if humanity had friends among the stars. After all, the airlock cycled open in the dim light of the outpost emergency systems. A tall, ethereal figure waited. Its crystalline skin pulsed with internal light, and its multifaceted eyes studied him with what might have been sympathy. Dominicville, it said, its translator rendering its musical language into human speech. "I am Ambassador Leia of the Stellar Conclave, and I bring you proof that the X crimes go far beyond what you imagine." Helen Reeves, Earth's former ambassador to the stellar conclaves, studied the holographic evidence. Ambassador Lyra had provided each data point, confirmed her suspicions about the Ix's true nature. The harvester consort. Lyra explained her crystalline form. Shimming has corrupted governments. Across 3 sectors they promise prosperity through trade, then exploit vulnerable species for biological resources, and the IC is their puppet on Earth. Dominic Ville added grimly. Helena nodded. They've been manipulating our policy for years. Every trade agreement, every colonial charter, all designed to give them access to human population. The resistance base inside Europa's ice sheets hummed with activity. Blackwood's team analyzed Lyra's data, while Roland Foreign Security Forces prepared for the inevitable ICC counterattack. The conclave stands ready to help, Lyra said, but we need irrefutable proof of the Ix crimes to act officially. The Europa facility, Helena suggested, if we can expose their operation here in Earth's own solar system, it won't be easy. Roland interrupted. They've tripled security since Mars, and our intel suggests they're moving something big through their daughter. Blackwood burst into the command center, her face pale. You need to see this. We've decoded their shipping manifests. The Europa facility isn't just a processing center, it's a launch point. The holographic display shifted, showing massive transport ships stocked at the facility. They're preparing to harvest Earth itself. She continued. Those ships could transport millions of humans to off-world extraction facilities. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. This wasn't just about colonial disappearances anymore. The harvesters were planning a full-scale invasion. How long? Dominic asked. Days, maybe less. Helena's diplomatic training kicked in. Lyra, if the conclave acted now, our fleet would take weeks to mobilize. The alien ambassador admitted. Earth would fall before we arrived. Then we do this ourselves, Roland declared. Hit the facility, expose the truth, rally Earth's defenses. Not good enough, Hulin countered. Even if we succeed, the Ix influence runs too deep. They'll spin it, cover it up, maintain control through their political puppets. Unless Lyra's crystalline form pulsed thoughtfully. There might be a way. The harvester's power comes from secrecy and corruption. But what if we could broadcast the truth to every human settlement simultaneously? No censorship, no ICC filters. The quantum communications network. Helena realized the ICC uses it to coordinate their operations across human space. If we could hijack it, we'd need access to their primary relay station, Blackwood said, which is inside the Europa facility. Dominic finished. It's all or nothing. Then we breach the facility, secure the relay station, expose the truth, and stop the invasion fleet. My security teams can handle the breach, Roland offered. But we'll need a distraction. Helena smiled grimly. Leave that to me. I still have friends in Earth's government, ones who've suspected the Ix corruption, but lacked proof. Give me an hour to make some calls. I will contact sympathetic species in the conclave. Lyra added, we cannot send ships, but we can provide other forms of assistance. As the others moved to prepare, Dominic caught Helena's arm. The ICC won't give up their power easily. This could spark a civil war. Better an honest war than silent extinction, she replied. Humanity deserves to choose its own fate. The resistance leader nodded. Then let's give them the choice. All hands prepare for battle. In 6 hours we either save Earth or die trying. Outside the base, Europa's ice sheets groaned and shifted as if the moon itself was restless above the massive bulk of Jupiter filled the sky, a constant reminder of humanity's achievements and ambitions. Now those ambitions had drawn predators, forcing humanity to fight for its very survival. But this time, they wouldn't fight alone. The Europa facility erupted in chaos as Roland strike teams breached the outer defenses. ICC security forces scrambled to respond, but they hadn't expected an attack from multiple vectors, especially not from inside Earth's government itself. Helena's political allies had launched simultaneous investigations, into ICC operations across the solar system, forcing them to split their resources. Meanwhile, Laius Conclave contacts had provided advanced shield disrupting technology that let the resistant ships slid through Europa's defensive grid relay station secured. Roland's voice crackled over the commodore. Blackwood, Europe. Nora's fingers flew across the quantum relay controls, uploading the compiled evidence of crimes broadcasting. Now every human settlement, every news outlet, every personal device, they'll all receive the full data package in the facilities. Massive hangar bay, Dominicville, led the charge against the Harvester transport ships. These vessels had been meant to carry Earth's population to slaughter. Now they would never let ICC. Reinforcements incoming. Lieutenant Pierce warned 3 capital ships just jumped in from Mars. Let them come. Helena replied from the command center. Earth Defense Force vessels are moving to intercept the political protection is gone. They're being treated as a hostile force. The truth was spreading faster than the ICC could contain it. Videos of harvesting facilities, biochemical data about the extraction process, evidence of political bribes and corruption. Humanity was learning exactly what their supposed protectors had planned for them. Multiple surrenders reported across ICC facilities. Pierce announced their command structure is collapsing, but victory wouldn't come without cost. The Harvester Consortium had invested too much to give up their human resources without a fight. Their ships emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter. Weapons Charge Consortium vessels detected Lyra, reported her crystalline form pulsing with urgency. They intend to take by force what they can no longer take through deception. Not this time, Dominic declared. Humanity knows the truth now. We know what we're fighting for. Earth's combined defense fleet moved to engage the consortium ships while civilian vessels evacuated the outer colonies. The resistance had given humanity a chance to fight back, and they were taking it. The battle for Europa facility reached its climax as ICC loyalists made a final push to retake the relay station. Roland's teams helped the line while Dr. Blackwood completed the broadcast. It's done, she announced. The truth is out. Everyone knows. The fighting gradually ceased as ICC forces realized the futility of their position. Without secrecy and political protection, their entire operation was finished. In orbit, the consortium fleet faced unexpected resistance. Earth's ships had been joined by vessels from other species, victims and potential targets of the harvesters who decided to take a stand. The conclave has officially condemned the consortium. Lyra announced sanctions, and criminal charges are being prepared. Your people are no longer alone in this fight. Hours later, the resistance leaders gathered in the secured facility. The ICC was in custody. The consortium was retreating, and humanity was coming to terms with how close they'd come to catastrophe. What happens now? Roland asked, cleaning his weapon. We rebuild. Helena replied, create genuine partnerships with other species, ones based on mutual respect rather than exploitation. And we stay vigilant. Dominic added, the harvesters aren't the only predators out there. Dr. Blackwood nodded, but we've proven something important. Humanity isn't just a resource to be harvested. We're a force to be reckoned with, especially when we stand together. Lyra's crystalline form glow in agreement. Your species has demonstrated remarkable resilience. The conclave looks forward to a more honest relationship with humanity as cleanup operations began across the solar system. Word came in from Earth. The people were demanding reform, transparency, and justice. The age of ICC corruption was over. Dominic looked out at Jupiter's swirling storms, thinking about everything they'd accomplished. They'd save humanity from a terrible fate, but more importantly, they'd given their species a chance to grow, to learn, to become something greater. The harvesters had seen humans as nothing more than a source of valuable compounds. Instead, they discovered what many had learned before, that humanity's true strength lay not in their biology, but in their spirit, their determination to resist, to fight back, to protect their own. That was something no one could harvest or steal. It was something that could only be earned. through courage, sacrifice, and the unwavering belief that every sentient being deserved to be free. The stars beckoned, promising new challenges and opportunities, but this time humanity would face them on their own terms, united, aware, and ready to forge their own destiny among the stars.